So we're going to get into some math explanations of negative exponents. So we're in 2.5, ready, set, go, number 10 and number 11. And it says finish filling in the table of values for y equals 3 to the x and use it to explain the meaning of 3 to the negative second. Okay. So going this way, I just did a video on exponents, zero exponents and negative exponents. So go check that video out. But if you just kind of look at the patterns of everything, you'll be able to figure out what negative exponents are. So as I work with this, your job is to ask, what patterns do I see? Okay, so here goes this. So this way, if I travel this way, notice I'm just multiplying by 3. So if I go this way, I'm just multiplying by 3. Go this way, multiplying by 3. So if I continue this pattern, this number would get me 27, which makes sense, right? You can also look at this pattern as going like undoing it, right? So 27, what would I do to it to get to 9? And you're like, oh, I could subtract 18, or you could divide by 3. And so here it speaks on that relationship, the inverse relationship, meaning the undoing relationship between multiplication and division. So same thing goes here, right? Divide by 3. Same thing goes here. Sorry, my arrows are getting all mixed up, but I'm going to continue this dividing by 3 pattern. So if I take 1 and divide it by 3, right, I get 1/3, right? I don't get a negative answer, which is what a lot of people want to say. Oh, Ms. Johnson, 3 to the negative second's negative number, right? No, right? And I can prove that using my exponential graph, right? Here's my exponential graph. This green one is 2 to the x, right? Notice here, it doesn't live on the bottom side of that coordinate plane. That means you don't get a negative. So if I continue this again, and again, divide by 3 again, I would get 1/3 squared or 1/9, right? And I can continue doing this again and again. I get 1/27 and 1/81, getting really, really close to 0. See, like when I plug in -1, I get 1/3, which again, this is 2 to the x. So just imagine that the curve kind of looks the same. See how it's getting closer and closer and closer to the x-axis. Now, if I zoomed in here, you would still see some space between the green curve and the x-axis, right? So there goes that. And then it says, use it to explain the meaning of 3 to the negative second. So we've talked a lot about negative exponents. And one of the things that we've said is that negative exponents don't mean negative answers. It actually just means divide. Okay, it means to divide by that many, 2 factors of 3. So 3 to the negative second just means 1/3 times 3, which is 1/3 squared. Some people just say, hey, Ms. Johnson, can't you just say, make it positive? And yes, you can, because that's what you see. That's the pattern that you see. But if you didn't understand where that comes from, then that rule will easily be lost, especially on a quiz or a test, because you'll be like, I think it makes it negative. No, it doesn't. So really go for understanding and not just like, here, I know what to do, right? Because if you think about like anything that you're really, really good at, and you know why you're doing what you're doing, then the steps in which you need to do it make more sense to you than the person on the opposite side who only understands what to do and not why you're doing it. Does that make sense? So like as a baker, let's just say I am somewhat a baker. And if I don't understand the job of say like baking soda or baking powder or salt or sugar or flour or eggs, right, in the like whatever I'm mixing up or making, then if I like don't have that particular ingredient, let's just say I don't have eggs, what can I use as a substitute? I won't be choosing something that doesn't have the same function as it. Does that make sense? So hope that makes sense. So here I'm really looking for you to understand why a negative exponent actually means division and not just, oh, Ms. Johnson, just put it in the denominator and make it positive. That's what's happening and not why it's true. And there's a huge difference between that. And here in this class, if you don't understand negative exponents, it's not going to hurt you that much if you don't understand the why, but it will hurt you later on when you're, say, like in the next couple of classes that follow this class. So hope that makes sense. Have a great day.